Brent pressed on. It was late, and the sun had set, leaving him in near total darkness in the mountains. Only the light of the moon offered guidance to him. He would stop when he could, but he hadn't found any place safe enough. Sheer drop-offs were common in these mountains. One wrong step, and he'd have a long drop below him. A brilliant gleam of light drew his attention down the road. It was there, and gone. The barbarian pressed onward. His heart raced in excitement and curiosity. Was there another person out here? He had to know. The ground was uneven in the dark as he followed the light as it flickered in and out. As Brent gave chase, he caught a good view of it. It was a brilliant colored bird. He knew what it was and hastened forward blindly. Welcome to Mythical Phylogeny Adventures. I'm your guide, Jason. Today, we meet the metallic bird known as Alicanto. Let's see what we can learn about this blessed and cursed creature. Alicanto comes from Chile. It is found living in the Atacama Desert and up into the mountains. It is predominantly nocturnal. It shines brightly both body and eyes, usually a copper-green color, but sometimes in a silver or gold color. Its eyes shine brightly. Edit. Now, this color is predictable, but not consistent. You see, the Alicanto's feathers get their color from their diet. And what does it eat? Precious metals, gold and silver being among its favorites. But it will also go for copper. It makes its home in rocky areas and old mines. Due to the weight of the metal it eats, it can't fly. It runs about with its wings out, either out to the sides or in front of it. If you find one, you can follow it. If you are of noble soul, the heart of gold, it may lead you to treasure. But if you have a more wicked content, it may lure you to walk off a cliff to your death. You are blinded by the radiant creature and fail to notice anything else around you. But if you follow it to its nest, then you will find riches to be mined. We have an interesting bird here. I think we should start with its feathers. The color is determined by the different metal it eats. Are there any other birds which does this? Yes, the flamingo does exactly this. They get their pink color from brine shrimp and brine fly larvae that they eat. Could Alicanto do the same? Maybe, secreting the metal into its feathers. That is actually a fairly simple concept, if a little slow. But why eat metal? Well, birds are known to eat stones. Birds have additional organs in their digestive tract called the crop and the gizzard. The crop is a pouch in the esophagus which holds food, while the gizzard is a muscular section of the stomach and does hold stones. These stones are used to help grind down seeds and other material to allow for digestion. Basically, these stones serve as teeth in function. Could this be the reason that Alicanto is doing it? Not eating the metal to survive, but using it to break down other things it eats in the Atacama Desert and the surrounding area? This desert lays west of the Andes Mountains and is one of the driest places on the planet. It gets about 15 millimeters or 0.6 inches of rain a year, with some parts getting even less. This means that the plants in the area are highly specialized to this environment. Their seeds can survive years or more before growing and blooming. While gold and silver would not be needed necessarily, most stones can crush these seeds. Most likely, it needs the metal for another reason. Now, Alicanto is nocturnal. While the Atacama Desert is hot in the day, it can be bitterly cold at night. It can get at or below freezing temperatures, even in the summer. You'll want to retain heat, and metal is often used as a heat sink. Potentially, this is why it seeks out the metal to devour. However, normal feathers can also achieve this, which means there may be a secondary reason behind it. such as having hard feathers, would also work as a deterrent against predators. Hard feathers may cut predators with their thin edges. So why would it shine? Well, metal, particularly gold and silver, are highly reflective and would do so when it is in the feathers. As for the glowing eyes, the Alicanto is nocturnal. Many nocturnal animals have specializations for such life. Namely, having large eyes is common. Large enough ones could create the glowing effect, particularly when you add in the gold and silver components to them. With the eyes, it would increase light reflectivity and the focus of the light onto the retina, thus giving us the look. But what kind of bird is Alicanto? We can look at the birds which inhabit the Atacama Desert. Since it is said to be flightless, you would think something like Darwin's or the lesser rare bird would be your first choice. Except Alicanto is said to have functional wings, but can't fly due to the metal it eats. Which means we need a flying bird to start with. While there are species of ducks and flamingos that live in the air, but neither seems to fit. Ducks and flamingos are excellent flyers. There are several species of doves which live in the area as well. Again, they are strong flyers. Any of those would be able to handle a little extra weight. Generally, a bird can fly while carrying up to 108% of its body weight. That would mean several pounds of gold and silver in the body to prevent flying. But we do have two potential birds that aren't strong flyers. Puna tinamu and the Chilean tinamu. Both of which can fly, but aren't very good at it. A variation of this could potentially work. I think a scientific name such as Tinamautus alicantus should work. What do you think? The only thing is neither is known for digging much, which would be required to find the silver and gold. That may be one more adaptation of our little bird here. If the metal spreads to its beak and claws, that will make it much easier for it to dig it out. Now, these birds can weigh about 2.4 pounds or 1,100 grams and are 41 centimeters or 16 inches in length. If these were strong flyers, it would need to eat metal on par with its own weight. But these aren't great flyers, and a little extra weight would stop it. So why does it trick people into walking off cliffs or into danger? Is it malicious? Probably not. This is a simple bird. If you approach hastily, you'll scare it. But if you come slowly, you won't scare it. Alicanto is also said to be a bit oblivious at times. Overall, this is a simple creature with limited magical power and only a unique diet and appearance which differentiates it from more normal birds. Don't you think? Okay, how do you fight Alicanto? First off, it is nocturnal, which means most encounters will be at night. It'll be cold and dark in the Atacama Desert. Prepare yourself, put on something warm, and find a light source. But would a light source scare Alicanto? Perhaps. It is reflective and shines in the night, which means that it will stand out in the dark. If you have a spell for dark vision or a potion of night vision, use it here. The best way to approach Alicanto is to find a hiding perch and wait, and watch for it. Look for a shifting light in the dark. You could also lay out some bait for it, silver and gold encrusted stones. But don't just go wandering off in the dark, both literally and figuratively. We know where Alicanto makes its nest. Go to an area which is known to have gold and silver and other precious metals. It doesn't walk around randomly. You know where it will appear. Use that. Once you see something, approach slowly. Remember the difficult terrain. Be sure that you don't walk off a cliff or into something else. I know that you are wanting to get to Alicanto, but you are probably wanting to get home more, right? Once you find Alicanto, do you rush in or wait? Let's look at rushing in right now. Alicanto's feathers are metallic in nature, but made of gold, silver, or copper. And guess what? All of those are softer metals than iron. That means in a fight, any iron, or better yet, steel weapon will suffice. Even bronze weapons will work here. Depending on the force, even a stone could suffice. But that would be more likely to break. The feathers aren't interlocking. Normal feathers are designed to protect against crushing forces, but as little against piercing attacks. An arrow should flip between the feathers with ease. Of course, you'll be trying to aim in the dark, which will make it harder. If you can get in close, you can lunge with a spear or sword and get it as well. A mace or other bludgeoning weapon will lose some of their effectiveness unless it has enough mass in the swing. Like most birds, it can peck you with its beak and scratch you with its claws. But with the metal-infused feathers, that is another issue. Their edges may be sharp and painful to handle. Due to its size, you should be able to protect yourself with gambeson, chainmail, or plate armor. Even a shield will help. But it is mobile. It can't fly much, if at all. If it can fly, it probably hasn't eaten for a while. If so, its feathers will be soft and more brittle. If you intend on catching it, you'll need to prepare. Throwing a net may not work. With metal in its beak, feathers, and claws, it may escape from that, but it will take some time. But with magic, there is another option. Ice magic will be able to trap it and hold it in place. But due to its metal body, lightning and fire magic are extra effective. Highly likely to kill it if that is your goal. Alicanto isn't that much of a threat. Most of those it kills are due to falling victim to natural components and the dangers of its home terrain. While its metal-infused body can be durable against foes of similar sizes, but loses its use when faced with a weapon or tool. So long as you take the preparations to approach it on the right conditions, you'll be fine. Thus, why I'm giving Alicanto a 1 of 10 for difficulty. Just plan ahead. If you kill Alicanto, you'll get a little meat, but not much. The feathers can be used to produce simple blades, or have the metal extracted for more useful things. But if you kill Alicanto, you are a fool. Yes, don't kill it. Alicanto is known for the treasure found in its nests, the gold and silver that it eats. If you are smart and careful, you can follow it back to its nest. Once there, grab a pickaxe and a shovel and start digging. It shouldn't take long. Now, if you keep feeding it silver and gold, it'll end up in its feathers. Feathers that you can sell for a high profit. Definitely useful. You could potentially keep it as a pet. It isn't that dangerous and will respond to the nature of your heart. It'll be easier to handle if you have a heart of gold. Yes, this could very easily become your golden goose. Follow it to its nest and get to work. Or catch it, you can use it to search for more silver and gold. This one is a little less reliable due to the difficulty of just finding the precious metals. They are called precious metals for a reason. Brent picked up his pace as he followed the bird. It was fast and hard to follow in the dark, but he kept going. A look of greed flared up. He knew that this was Alicanto. The dream of gold and silver filled his mind. It would be so nice to have. Luxury was in his grasp. Sure, it would be hard work, but a mine of gold was well within his reach. Brent was blinded and tripped, landing face first, but not in the dirt. His head landed right above the open air as he found himself leaning over a cliff, one step away from his death. Shaking, he scooted back to safety. Looking into the distance, he watched Alicanto flee into the night. Alicanto may lack physical power, but the blessing you receive by following it to its nest is enough to change your life. so long as you don't lose yourself in the chase and fall prey to the dangers of the Atacama Desert. Thank you for watching, adventurers. Please return next week for Lu Kalkul. Until then, I'll see you on the roads.